Libra Rising 2022 is about grinding now and securing the bag so that you can have fun and find your partner, your love later. It's about building the foundation today to build that union on top of in the future. So if you're excited to dive into what exactly 2022, the year ahead, holds for you and your rising sign, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. Side note, if the scenery, lighting, what I'm wearing, everything changes throughout this, it's because 12 rising sign videos is going to take a couple days to get through since these are pretty extensive. So starting out on Sunday, we're going to see how this goes, but yeah, there's going to be some like cut paste, you know the drill. And if we have not met yet, I am Maren. I am an astrologer that uses traditional Hellenistic Greek techniques, also the tropical zodiac and whole sign houses in order to do the kind of astrology I do. So the way that this is going to go, that it's been divided up, is major periods for your sign, the eras of 2022, then going through the major important dates for what to hit at the end, so you can be like, this is in my calendar, this is in my schedule, etc. Macro, then micro. Let's get into it. So the first major period of the year is what I'm calling the you better work bitch time of the year. It is January into March-ish, January, February really, and for you, this is around money specifically. It's going to be a grind. So January 18th, Uranus stations direct in your Taurus 8th house. So the 8th house is investments, finances, and shared resources. Uranus is volatility and suddenness. So Uranus stationing direct is sudden improvements and innovation around finances and investments in your life. Also on the 18th, the nodes enter Taurus and Scorpio, your 8th house, 2nd house axis of finances. 8th house will have the north node, so an increase on investing and sharing your financial journey. So an emphasis on investing and putting more money aside, and the south node in your 2nd house, so less focus on earning direct income or spending directly on goods and services. On the 29th of January, Venus will station direct in your Capricorn 4th house. So Venus was retrograde, asking for a reconsideration of values in your 4th house of home and family. With Venus stationing direct, you're now moving forward with implementing these new values around the roots of your life, and Jupiter will have newly re-entered your Pisces 6th house, returning to some priorities you might have had over the summer around growing your physical health regimen, like diet, exercise, taking care of yourself, also growing the amount of people you work with if you're hiring people or maybe you're getting a new pet. The Saturn-Uranus square is still really, really precise though around this time. So Saturn is in your 5th house, so you're being mature and more grounded and calculated about your creative or romantic journey, whereas Uranus in your 8th house is like, whoa, but money's all over the place, like how do I balance these two things out when I'm not really sure how my finances are going? The crazy time of the year is Pisces into Taurus season of March into May, focusing on health. And for you, Pisces season is a lot in your 6th house of physical health or coworkers. There's a new moon conjunct Jupiter March 2nd. That's a really beautiful time for some dreams to be like manifesting or coming true. But overall, it's a lot of delusion and like too good to be true energy, so just be careful. April 12th, Jupiter will be conjunct Neptune here, which is very, very idealistic. Great for something that is objectively like not realistic. Not a great time for something practical. On April 29th, Pluto will station retrograde in your Capricorn 4th house, which is going back and rethinking the deep transformations around home, family, and property that you've had over the past few months. And on April 30th, there's a solar eclipse in your 8th house. A vast new beginning around investments and finances in your life that is catalyzed by world events. On May 10th, Jupiter enters your Aries 7th house. So Jupiter will enter your 7th house of committed relationships and partnerships, opening up the possibility of growing that area of your life. And on May 16th, there's a lunar eclipse in your 2nd house. A really substantial letting go of a stream of income or in a way that you spend money, something around money that is your own money, not investing, not like deep financial, but like your own money spending or getting it, is ending. The summer is all about slowing down. A lot of planets are retrograde. So on June 4th, Saturn will station retrograde in your 5th house, rethinking boundaries, maturity, or restrictions in your 5th house of romance, creativity, and children. On June 28th, Neptune will be retrograde in your Pisces 6th house, so rethinking the less grounded, more idealistic parts of your physical health journey or your coworker dynamics. On July 28th, Jupiter will station retrograde in your 7th house, rethinking the growth or opportunities that have come your way for for partnership. And on August 24th, Uranus will station retrograde in your 8th house. You're rethinking the very, very massive adjustments, changes, and innovations in your financial world. Now, the last part of the year is the spooky shit goes down part of the year, and this will be October onward. For you, it's all about managing your health physically and mentally so you can get back to focusing on love for 2023. Does look like you take a bit of a breather. On October 23rd, Saturn stations direct in your 5th house, so you're ready to move forward with new boundaries, new restrictions, new moments of maturity in your 5th house of romance. On October 25th, there is a solar eclipse in your 2nd house, a new beginning around finance and income that you're now implementing for the next year and a half. On October 28th, then, Jupiter re-enters your Pisces 6th house. One last period of growth and focus on your 6th house of physical health. Like, you really, really need to expand this one more time for investigating and planning. And on October 30th, there's a Mars retrograde beginning in your 9th house. Mars retrogrades are rethinking the way that we go after getting things done. And for you, this is in your 9th house of foreign travel and higher education. So the way that you're working hard and getting things done is being rethought. On November 6th, there is a lunar eclipse in your 8th house, a letting go of a shared financial or investment situation. And on November 23rd, Jupiter stations direct in your 6th house. So you're finally on track with finding a rhythm that works for you with your physical health or coworker dynamics that are such a big focus right now. On December 3rd, Neptune is in direct in the same part of your chart in the 6th house. So you're more able to ingrain the idealistic elements in a more realistic way that is more sustainable. And on December 20th, Jupiter enters your Aries 7th house once and for all as we enter 2023, fully extending the 7th house partnership, maybe even marriage focus as we enter the next year. So the Mercury retrogrades for this year start out on January 14th to February 3rd in your Aquarius 7th house and your Capricorn 6th house. So marriage and partnership, and also physical health and coworkers. Then May 10th to June 2nd, it'll be in your Gemini 9th house of foreign travel and higher education, and your Taurus 8th house of investing and shared resources. September 9th to October 2nd, it will be in your 1st house of self and your 12th house of mental health. And December 29th into the new year of December 18th, 2023, it is in your Capricorn 4th house. Now, we start 2022 with a Venus retrograde in your 4th house until January 29th, which will deal with rethinking values and things that you hold dear to your heart around home, family, and property. There's a Mars retrograde October 30th until January 1st in your 9th house of foreign travel and higher education, leading you to rethink how you are going about getting these things. There's a Jupiter retrograde July 28th to November 23rd within your 7th house of marriage and your 6th house of coworkers and physical health, asking you to rethink the optimism or abundance that you want in these areas. There's a Saturn retrograde from October 23rd until January 1st, 2023 in your 5th house of romance and creativity, which you are rethinking these structures or boundaries around. There's a Uranus retrograde August 24th to January 1st, 2023 in your 8th house of finance and investing, where you're rethinking the very fast, innovative journey that you're having. There's a Neptune retrograde June 28th until December 4th in your 6th house of physical health and coworkers, where you're rethinking too good to be true or idealism that you're, playing with. And there's a Pluto retrograde April 29th until October 8th in your 4th house of home, family, property, where you're rethinking the really vast upheaval and transformation. The eclipses are in your financial axis, north node of focus in your 8th house of investing, and south node of less focus and decrease in your 2nd house of earned income or spending. On April 30th, there's a solar eclipse, a huge new beginning in your 8th house of investing. On May 16th, there's a lunar eclipse, a letting go in your 2nd house of spending or income. On October 25th, there's a solar eclipse, a new beginning in that 2nd house of income or spending. And on November 6th, there's a lunar eclipse, a big ending in your 8th house of finance and investing. So if you have any comments below on how you think that these major themes could be playing out for you, do let me know down below. Would be very interested to hear from you. And I think that all of us with the same rising sign could get a little bit out of seeing how we think each other's lives are going to be playing out for the year ahead. The tarot card we have now for Libra risings is, we have the Page of Pentacles, and this deck it's known as the Page of Crypto. And pages are how we go about getting information, it's communication, it is like the busybody, and pentacles are worldly matters. So this is saying that this year is about rethinking where you get your information and how you go about communicating about like the base things of your life. There's a lot around physical health and a lot around home and family still. So I think that you're like rethinking the way that you interact with your needs in the world so that you can set those up for success for attracting love at next year. So as always, if you did enjoy this, would appreciate a like, a subscribe, a notification bell, a comment. It all helps. I appreciate it. I look at the comments. I look at who's showing up. I really love it. I hope that you like these videos. Otherwise, take care, and I would say I'll see you next year, but like I'll be making a fucking video tomorrow. So I'll see you in the next one.